guys, welcome back to the Zortex Anxiety Support channel, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is going to be all about the effects of social media on our mental health. Social media is something that's really prevalent in today's day, so I wanted to go over some of the ways that we use it that maybe isn't great for our mental health, and some of the ways we can figure out how to use it to be better. So let's get into the video. Pretty much all of us have some kind of social media account, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. But the social media circle is ever growing. You know, we have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have TikTok, we used to have Vine, there was MySpace, I don't know if you guys remember even Bebo, I think it was called. It's always been present for my generation and now the younger generations. Even the older generations are now joining in, and it's great because it connects people. That was the original purpose, that we can connect with people all around the world in ways that we couldn't before. So actually social media is great in that sense. But what's happened is it's basically become like a global school. You have popularity contests. It's all about the numbers now, not actually about the connections that you make. And that was one of the issues that is highly debated, whether they should take off the like counter, whether they should take off different numbers so that the younger generations don't feel that much pressure. It shouldn't matter whether you get 10 likes or 10,000 likes, but it does matter. It makes us feel worthwhile, and that's the issue. Another big problem with social media is these social media stars. Suddenly becoming famous is within everyone's grasp. You just have to spend time on it, like a lot of time, and that's not healthy, right? Some people thrive in that, but really, if you see the amount of social media stars that have a huge following, all their mental health suffers because it's an obsession. When I started up my Instagram account, I was determined to grow it, and I started first just posting sporadically, and then I realized there's an algorithm which is more to do with how much time you spend on it, how many people you engage with, how many people engage with you, which all makes sense because obviously the developers of that app, they want you to use it as much as possible. They want you to get more people onto the app and to spend more time on it. It's just everything with business. You want people to buy from you the most. You're not buying anything from Instagram, but they're buying your time. I'd highly recommend watching The Social Dilemma on Netflix if you get a chance, because some say it's eye-opening. It's everything we already really know about social media, but it's good to just remind ourselves. And it's very interesting to see how the developers of certain parts of the social media apps, how they feel about it now. They don't feel good. So it's just something that people, they want to get famous, and this is the best way. So it's all about the numbers again. Now, businesses use social media stars to promote their product, so they'll pay. That means it's a way for people to earn money. Then social media, rather than being a social thing, becomes a business thing or a job. Again, the lines become blurry, and that's a big issue for a lot of people with their mental health, because it's not fun anymore. It's supposed to be a fun place where you can make new friends, catch up with your friends, share your life. And especially now during the pandemic, people are using social media as a way to really live their lives as normally as possible, because you're still communicating with people. You're finding new friends. You're finding new things to do. There's lots of trends to try out, or little hacks. And all of those kinds of things are good when used correctly. There are also a lot of trends that are really bad for you. There was one which was filing your teeth with an actual nail file. That's not a good thing to try, but people were doing it because it got a lot of attention. And those aspects of social media just don't bode well for your mental health. So, the first thing to do when it comes to social media is to decide, why are you using it? Is it to connect with friends? Is it for entertainment, or is it a job? There's nothing wrong with social media being your job, but it has to be clear in your mind that that is your job. That is your 9 till 5. That's not where you're going to make friends. It's not a problem if you do happen to make friends, but it's not about that. It is a job. It is about sales. But instead of selling a product, you want to get somebody to follow you. You want to get somebody to click on a link. So it's fine to do it as a job, but just make sure you're clear with that. If you are just using social media recreationally, I would highly recommend limiting how often you go on it, and limit the amount of apps you have. You don't need every social media app. I mean, personally, I don't use Snapchat, I don't use TikTok, I don't use Twitter. They just don't interest me. Instagram, I like. YouTube, I like. Facebook was just one of those. I mean, Facebook's a bit of a tricky one because it's just like everybody has it, right? Everybody has their circle on Facebook. So you get to know inside people's lives, but then what you realize is you're getting to know inside people's lives that actually you're not friends with anymore in real life. Now, it's quite a lot of effort to keep going through and deleting people. I know a lot of people start new Facebook accounts. Again, it depends if you want to do that. But it does feel like you are exposing yourself by posting on Facebook. So again, if you're using it just for fun, make sure it is fun. Don't feel pressured to go along with any trends or share something just because somebody asks you to. If you want to post something, don't worry about how many likes you get. It's because you want to put that in the world, and that's fine. So it takes some time to be able to come to terms with that, actually, because in teenage years it definitely feels like a really big deal. Obviously you have cyberbullying. The brilliant thing about most social media things is you can block people, so just remember that is an option. You can report them. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you're experiencing any problems with people. Where there's something good, there'll be something bad. So of course there are internet trolls. People will try and bring you down just because they're not happy with their lives. Again, block them, report them. Don't engage with it because it's what they want. They want an argument. And if you start to feel that you're not enjoying using that app, delete it. It's just an app. You don't have to be present in those social media circles. There is a real world out there that you can interact with and find different things. If you do want to stay online, there are different platforms. One of my favourite platforms has now turned out to be Quora, which seems so boring because it's just questions and answers. But you realise you're interacting with real people who are experiencing real problems similarly to you, or they're interested in the same things as you. So it's a real feeling of community on those kinds of sites, whereas Instagram now is just about showing off. Ultimately, that's what it feels like. The people that are successful on Instagram who don't have a following from elsewhere, meaning they're not a business or they're not a celebrity, it's just about showing how great you are. And it's not something that I think is that important. Take, for example, selfies. I mean, everybody was taking selfies for a couple of years. People still do. Now it comes from self-portraits, and self-portraits can be beautiful, and I love photography and it's really interesting. But selfies became obsessive, and suddenly an Instagram feed, which Instagram was designed to be more like a museum and have lots of different photos and different things and just snippets of different places all around the world, suddenly became a gallery of somebody's face. You'd go through their Instagram account and it would just be their face. Now, I understand people like to look at beautiful people, but it's not good for your mental health. So just take a break from it. Don't follow accounts that are toxic. Don't interact with toxic people, because there will always be somebody who wants to fight with you. There will always be somebody that has a difference of opinion. It doesn't matter. If you want it as a job, as I said, feel free to make it your job, but then have something else that you do for fun. Have somewhere else where you interact with friends, where there isn't that pressure. Remember, social media is a great tool, but it can become an obsession. So take time out. Even if it's a job, step away from it for a bit. Go outside, go for a walk, switch it off, turn off notifications. There's so many ways that we can protect ourselves to not be consumed by it. So I would highly, highly recommend that you change the way the notifications work. I switch off notifications so it won't turn up on my home screen. Only messages will. Similarly, you can block it entirely. You can even put your phone on Do Not Disturb if you want to, if you don't want anything to come through. It's up to you. But just remember, your mental health is a priority. Anxiety is caused by social media because we become concerned about what everybody thinks. Suddenly, it's not just a room of 10 people that you're worried about, it's the entire world. It's everybody that's on the platform, which is over 1 billion people. We don't need that kind of pressure. It should be a fun place where we can find out things about the world, find out different information about businesses or what people are doing. There is no reason it should, but feeling the need to constantly post isn't good for us. Take a break, enjoy your life, enjoy the real world. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Comment down below which apps you use, how you find it impacts your mental health, and I'll see you next time.